Alrighty, we are joined now by soon to be returning Red Sox center fielder Adam Duvall. Adam, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. On the mend and ready to get back with the boys.
We are ready to have you back as well. How's the process been since you went down in Detroit? How's this been the last couple of months getting back to speed?
Yeah, it's felt long.
Mm.
It's obviously you never want to get hurt. You never want to have to go through this, but things happen, and I felt like I made the most of it so far. So, we've got about 3 more days, on the IL, and then hopefully uh, be able to join the team on June 9th and get back with the boys and start grinding for some W's.
That's what it's all about. What
Yeah.
goes through your head in Detroit? Because we're watching as fans and just thinking like this guy's playing like Babe Ruth, and now he hurts himself. And obviously, you've had that issue before. What's going through your head when you're sliding for that ball and afterwards?
Man, well, afterwards, I'm thinking, I wish I would have just stayed on my feet, let that thing drop and throw it in.
Yeah.
But it's you play the game and you try to play it to the best of your ability, and there's freak accidents. So yeah, I mean, I had surgery on that wrist last year, and so that was kind of going through my mind, as far as is it the same injury? I knew something bad happened, but I wasn't quite sure. But getting an X-ray, it was sort of the best case scenario as far as what I injured. So it was kind of just letting the bone heal, giving it time, and just trying to keep my body game ready as far as my legs and um, my arm, and I was able to do a lot of stuff, for baseball and trying to stay game ready, so that I could try and hop right back in once the bone was healed. So
Yeah, and you said the process has felt really long. It's felt long to us too, but how does it feel being this close to coming back?
it feels good. I'm starting to get really excited. Playing in some games, starting to compete again, and getting back out there, getting my legs under me, and I think that's what I missed most was being able to compete, because that's it's exciting, it's fun, it's fun to pull for your teammates, and it's fun to win ball games, and so that's what I miss most, and that's what I'm most excited to get back to.
Have you had a welcome to Boston moment, whether it's the one-way streets or people like, "Oh, Duvall, like how you doing, man? Welcome." Like, has there been any real like Boston authentic moment for you so far?
Oh, no, not necessarily. I think obviously that first series, hitting the walk-off home run was pretty cool. That was like,
Mm.
um, you know, that was really cool because obviously everybody's super excited. The fans are going crazy. So that was kind of the welcome to Boston moment.
What's your thoughts on the light show? Because we've had whole conversations on it. This is the first year they've done it. As a
Yeah.
player, you're like, this is a little nut. Granted, have you played? Did they do that in Atlanta or other places you've been at?
They've done it other places, but I will tell you that when I hit that home run, it bounced off the very top of the wall, which is a home run, and came back. So I was running around the bases like I wasn't sure whether it was a double or not. So but once they did the light show, I was like, oh well, they must know it's a home run. So that kind of allowed me to kind of soak in the moment a little bit more, a little bit sooner. And so for that, I was thankful.
Yeah, you're basically sprinting and it's like a strobe light show going on. You're like, I think I
Yeah.
should jog now. I think I'm
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Well,
exactly.
that it added to the confusion because we didn't know if it was gone either. We're like, I guess it's like that, forget the umps. Whoever does the light show determines if it's a home run or not. So that much
Right.
we learned on that play. In a perfect world for you, and it's probably just center field, but what are you most comfortable with? Whether it would be like DHing. I mean, obviously that you're the center fielder of the team, but just in your best season, let's say over the course of a season, and maybe wanting to get off your feet a little bit, is that the goal, or is it just I'm the everyday center fielder? I'm going to do whatever it takes to win ball games.
Yeah, I think the perfect scenario would probably be majority center field, and then just on days where obviously you've been grinding, maybe you've been on base a lot or had a lot of activity in the outfield, just to maybe DH and get off your feet. I think I think the ability to um, kind of manipulate the roster and use that DH as kind of a day to give guys off their feet is big. And obviously it's in both leagues now. So, but yeah, I mean, it's really hard for me to say like I want a day off because I always want to try and impact the game in some way, and I feel like I can do that with my bat. And so, it's I would rather DH than have a day off.
So you're obviously the new guy in town. Or I shouldn't say the new guy in town, one of the many new guys in town in
Yeah.
Boston. What has it been like getting to know those guys? The new guys and the guys who have been here. And is there anybody that you're closest with on the team so far?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever you bring in a bunch of new guys, you have to really work at becoming a team and getting close because it's not like you've played together for the last 4 or 5 years. So, but we've done a good job of that, in my opinion, as far as really getting to know guys and trying to do things that can bring us closer together. As far as guys that I'm close with, we spend a lot of time with the hitters. So it's mainly the position players, and so I think it's just that group of guys that we're trying to create an identity, get closer together, and just learn to compete as a group.
I think a big part of that too, being new here, especially in Boston, is ingratiating yourself to the fans. Because the fans they have a lot to say. They got some mouths here, and I think there's no better way to ingratiate yourself to the fans than what you've done, to start hitting homers right off the bat and start winning ball games, and be off to one of the greatest starts as a new member of the Red Sox. Do you feel like you've set expectations for yourself extra high after the start that you've had? You've set the bar pretty high. You're averaging a homer every other game right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's sustainable. So hopefully, I wouldn't have that to be expected, but the goal every day is to put together a good at bat. And I've worked a lot on the mental side of things, and I expect to be good. And it really starts with me, and the expectations I set for myself, because I can't control what other people expect. I can't control what other people think. So, I really just try and go out and play the game the right way. I try to prepare the right way, and then, just play hard. I think this city really appreciates guys who play the game the right way and play the game hard. And, I'm not always going to get a hit. I'm not always going to make the diving play, but it won't be for a lack of effort or a lack of preparation. So, I think anything else I can live with. So as long as I do those things, I feel good about it.
So what was it like coming out to the crowd at Fenway and you're playing for the team at Fenway? Like, that sounds dumb, but you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I'm part of the home team now. I'm not an opposing player. Like, this is not like, what was the first kind of maybe interaction you had with a fan, or just, moment where you're like, oh, I play my home games at Fenway Park. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, running out on Fenway because there's so much history there, there's so much tradition, um, there's so much character to the ballpark, and it's really one of the coolest places that I've played, and I'm not saying that just because I play here now. I really do enjoy the feeling that I get when I run out onto the field. So, I think just those feelings, it's fun. It really is. It's fun running out and seeing people in the stands, and seeing people on the Green Monster. It's a unique ballpark, and um, like I said, it's got a lot of character, so it's pretty cool.
To the uniqueness, what's it like playing center there? Because that's not the same center field as most parks.
Yeah, yeah. So, I found I try and really think ahead, because, there's a lot of different scenarios that could happen off the walls, off the different angles. You really got to know who's running, and you really have to have an internal clock because
Mm.
it depends on where the ball bounces and how quickly you can get to it based on which base you're going to throw to. Um, whereas most parks, it's if you hit, if the ball's in the gap, you know where you're going to throw. But with the different angles of the walls, it takes you different amounts of time to get to the ball, and you have that internal clock is so important, especially playing center there. So I think that's one of the biggest things and one of the coolest things about the park.
I am curious your mindset being on a 1-year deal, and just as a player in the bigs. Obviously, you've been in the bigs for a little bit. You understand this league. Is it in your head or that, oh, okay, like I have a 1-year deal, I gotta, to prove it, and I'm gonna earn this or are you just out there to play ball? Like I always wonder the mental element of it. How much can you take that part out of it while you're out there on the field?
Yeah, as I've gotten older, I've thought about it less and less, because my goal is to always be the best player I can be, no matter if I was on a 2-year deal, 3-year deal, whatever. And so, you know, I, I believe that I do a good job of just kind of staying in the present and worrying about today and being prepared for tonight's game versus thinking about, oh, I got to do this or that, so that next year this can happen. And I honestly, the older that I've got, the less I think about those types of things. And really just appreciating the moment and worrying about, okay, how am I going to get ready for tonight's game? And how can I get my body ready and my mind ready to, be the best player I can be? So honestly, I really don't think about it that much.
I got a little story for you, Adam. Speaking of 1-year deals here, we're at Fenway Park for the doubleheader the other day, Steve and I, and it is 49 degrees at the start of the game. It is misty. It is windy. It is disgusting outside. And Steve says, I think Steve still has hope that he's going to make it in the bigs. He said, if I was a free agent, I'm not sure I would sign here strictly because of the weather. Did the weather impact your decision at all when you got an offer from Boston?
I'm gonna tell you it did,
Okay.
but it's probably an answer that you weren't expecting. So, my mindset was that I can deal with the cold if the summers are really good.
Mm.
And playing through the cold, honestly, I don't mind it too much. I've played in a couple places, Atlanta and Miami and Cincinnati. They get really, really hot in the summer, and which is a major factor for I'm type 1 diabetic. So it being so hot in the summer really drains my energy. So my thought was, okay, it can be super cold and at the start, but in the summers are going to be beautiful. And so that was one of the things that they kept telling me was the summers are beautiful here. So I was like, man, so that if I don't have to deal with like 98 degrees with like 100% humidity, that would be great, and great for my recovery. I'm hoping that playing through the cold will pay off for the summers that we're going to get. So
You
That
basically
makes
earn the
sense.
warm days. That's kind of how it goes. It's like you got to grind through these. Granted, it's June now. The fact that it's still like this, I just need
yeah,
you to know that this isn't common. Like normally it's the April and May. It's not like into June. Are we still doing this crap? Like we're still wearing the big jackets in the dugout. Like it's not going to be like that for much longer. So I think you're
yeah.
coming back at a good time. It's going to get a little warmer soon.
Well, good, good. Yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like the weather has been great.
Good.
For the first couple weeks of the season was cold and rainy, but we've had some great weather here, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's all you need. Last one for you, Adam. I know you talked about having type 1 diabetes and living as that being part of your life. How much does it matter to you to inspire other athletes to show what you can do playing with type 1 diabetes and just how you can make it, a possibility to play in the major leagues with this?
Yeah, so one of the unique things about the job that I have is the ability to connect with fans and people at the ballpark. And one of my favorite things about being able to do that is when I see a kid or a parent with a sign that says, "Hey, I'm type 1 diabetic," or those types of things. And one of the coolest things is being able to pull out my pump and we can show each other our pumps. And because I know being a kid, like that's the last thing that you want to have to deal with, right? And so my heart really goes out to those kids dealing with it. And if I can be that sense of light or that sense of hope, or just to show them that, hey, you can go after this and you can do it, that's what I want to do. And so that's one of my most treasured moments that happens kind of in this game, as far as from a fan perspective. And just being able to do that and connect with those kids really, and who really like love the game of baseball. And so it's that part's really cool.
That's awesome. Adam Duvall, appreciate you joining. So do you know your return? You probably can't say yet. Do you know when you're coming back or no?
The goal is June 9th. So
if you come back with this first Sox Yankees game of the year, that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So
they'll throw you right into the mix there in the Bronx. So, I mean, no better way to come back than that. We're happy to have you back, and I wish you nothing but, the best the rest of the season. So appreciate you hopping on, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care.